It's really pretty amazing how fast the way we shop has changed. I mean, not that long ago, it felt like it was almost all about physical stores.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, brands connecting directly with you online, it's just this massive and still like rapidly growing
It
thing.
really is. And this direct-to-consumer or DTC
Right.
e-commerce, it's not just some passing fad. It's become totally fundamental to the global
Oh,
economy.
right.
The numbers really tell the story. Just this year, 2024, the market globally hit, what, $162.91 billion?
Wow.
And the forecasts, Data Horizon Research thinks it'll skyrocket to $595.19 billion by 2033.
At
That's a huge growth.
almost $600 billion in like less than 10 years. Okay, let's break this down a bit. What's really driving this massive expansion?
Well, it seems to be a mix of things coming together. Fundamentally, the way we behave as consumers has shifted, right? People are just more comfortable shopping online. Often they even prefer the convenience.
Yeah, definitely.
And at the same time, digital tech just keeps marching forward, giving brands newer, better ways to reach people.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, the sheer number of online channels for both brands and us consumers has just exploded.
And this isn't just happening in, say, North America or Europe, is it? I've seen some reports mentioning really fast growth in specific markets elsewhere.
That's a really important point. Take India, for example. That's a phenomenal growth story right now.
Okay.
Their DTC market is expected to triple compared to just 2020, maybe hitting $100 billion by the end of 2025.
$100 billion just in India.
Yeah, and some predictions even suggest it could be $300 billion by 2030. That kind of speed in a major global market, it really changes things.
So it's not just the new sort of digital-first startups playing in this D2C game anymore. We're seeing the big established brands jumping in too.
Exactly. Traditional consumer packaged goods companies, the CPG giants, they're increasingly using DTC strategies.
Why the shift for them?
Well, a big driver for them is building those stronger direct relationships with you, the customer. And crucially, it gives them direct access to that really valuable first-party data.
Ah, the data.
Yeah, that direct info from their own customers. Owning that whole customer journey gives them insights they just couldn't get through old-school retail.
Okay, got it. So we've got the massive scale, the forces behind it. It's huge, it's global, it's got serious momentum. So for this deep dive, our mission is really to zero in on what you, our listener, need to know about the key trends, the strategies shaping D2C as we head towards 2025. What are the really critical things to watch?
Precisely. Let's dive into some of those pivotal shifts we're seeing right now.
Great. The first one that jumps out seems to be subscriptions. Their power in the D2C space.
Yeah, subscriptions are fascinating because they fundamentally change the customer relationship.
How so?
Well, it's moved way beyond just a single purchase, right?
Yeah.
It transforms a one-time buyer into potentially a loyal repeat customer.
Okay.
It works really well for products you use up and need again regularly.
Yeah.
But we're also seeing it succeed for curated experiences, where the brand delivers ongoing value or surprise with regular shipments.
That makes total sense. Like getting your favorite coffee delivered every month without thinking about it, or maybe a curated box of, I don't know, grooming stuff.
Exactly.
It gives the brand predictable income, and it's super convenient for the customer. Okay, so building on that recurring value idea, what's the next big trend we should look at?
The next really significant trend is all about how brands are understanding their customers much, much more deeply. And artificial intelligence is playing a huge part here.
AI, yeah, feels like it's everywhere now. How's it changing how D2C brands understand us?
Well, AI, combined with sophisticated data analytics, lets brands build these incredibly detailed, dynamic customer profiles.
More than just demographics.
Oh, much more. They're not just looking at what you bought last time. They're analyzing your browsing habits on their site, how you interact with their social media, your engagement across all their digital spots. These AI systems, they use algorithms to spot patterns in huge amounts of data. Think of it like finding connections between things you do online and what you end up buying.
Okay, so they're basically painting a much richer picture of who we are as customers. So what's the payoff? For the brands and hopefully for us too.
For the brands, this really detailed understanding means much more precise audience segmentation.
Right.
Which then lets them predict what you might want next and deliver really relevant marketing messages, but at scale.
Okay.
So the result should be, smarter targeting, much deeper personalization, and ideally more meaningful customer experiences because the stuff you see is more likely to actually match what you need or want.
So less generic marketing, more tailored stuff. And I guess this deeper understanding naturally flows into the next trend, actually predicting what we might do next.
Exactly. Predictive analytics. It takes all that rich historical data and uses statistical models to forecast future customer behavior.
Hmm.
It's a bit like weather forecasting, right? Past patterns help predict what's coming.
Okay.
This gives DTC brands a really significant edge competitively. If they have a better idea of what you're likely to do, they can make smarter decisions across the board.
Like what kind of decisions? Can you give some examples?
Sure, they can manage their inventory better by forecasting product demand more accurately, making sure they have the right stuff in stock when you want it.
Mm-hmm.
They can personalize your experience even further by anticipating your needs, maybe even before you realize them yourself.
Interesting.
And they can build better customer retention strategies by spotting customers who might be about to leave and reaching out proactively.
That's pretty powerful. Any companies doing this particularly well?
Yeah, a good example is the Luxury Closet. They're an online marketplace for pre-owned luxury items.
Okay.
They've openly talked about analyzing customer data from lots of different angles, not just to understand current shopping habits, but to actually anticipate future ones.
So they're trying to stay ahead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It lets them tweak their offerings and marketing really effectively.
Yeah.
They actually said they focus on analyzing data through different angles that can allow us to have the opportunity to mirror shopping behaviors, even anticipate shopping behaviors.
Huh. So if they see me constantly looking at, say, a certain type of handbag, their system might flag new arrivals or special offers on similar things for me.
Precisely. It's about being one step ahead, but ideally in a way that feels helpful and relevant, not creepy.
Right, there's a line there. Okay, so we've got brands understanding us better, even predicting our moves. What's the fuel for all this sophisticated analysis? What's the core resource?
It all comes down to first-party data. Looking towards 2025, this is probably one of the most valuable things a DTC brand can have.
And that's the data they collect themselves, right?
Exactly. It's the information brands gather directly from their interactions with you, your website visits, purchase history, email signups, survey responses, all that stuff.
Why is that specific type of data so critical right now?
Well, mainly because it allows for that deep personalization and effective marketing without relying so much on third-party cookies.
Which are becoming much harder to use.
Right, with all the privacy changes. So by using their own first-party data, brands can build stronger and more direct relationships based on actual insights they've gathered themselves.
Okay. And how are D2C companies actually boosting their collection of this valuable data?
The successful ones are using a whole range of tactics to get customers engaged and willing to share info. Things like loyalty programs that give you rewards for sharing preferences, preference centers where you can literally tell them what you're interested in, engaging quizzes that are fun but also capture useful data, and post-purchase feedback loops to get immediate insights after you buy something.
So it's like a value exchange, customers share info for a better, more personalized experience.
Exactly. But, and this is critical, as brands collect more of this data, handling it responsibly becomes absolutely essential.
Well, trust is huge.
Totally. Being transparent about how data is used and strictly following privacy rules like GDPR and others is non-negotiable for building and keeping customer trust.
Makes sense. Are even the big traditional players focused on this?
Absolutely. Take Kellanova, the big snacking company. They implemented an AI-powered D2C strategy specifically to get deeper consumer insights.
Okay.
Their whole focus was on collecting, unifying, and then smartly analyzing their trusted first-party consumer data with AI. Why? To create and deliver those hyper-personalized experiences we've been talking about.
It really hammers home that data is the absolute core of successful DTC in 2025. Okay, let's pull back a bit. How does all this DTC activity fit into the wider e-commerce market overall?
Right. Looking at the bigger picture, the entire e-commerce market is seeing really significant sustained growth. Forecasts suggest global e-commerce sales will hit something like $5.14 trillion by the end of this year, 2024.
A trillion.
Yeah, and that represents a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR, of about 15% just from 2019 to 2024. So it's a major upward trend showing just how vital online commerce is globally.
What's fueling that massive overall growth? Similar thing.
Pretty similar drivers, yeah. Growing internet access and smartphone use globally is bringing more people online to shop. E-commerce offers real cost savings for businesses versus traditional retail. The whole infrastructure, logistics, payments keeps getting better. And we're seeing tons of small and medium-sized businesses, SMEs, using e-commerce platforms to reach way more customers.
And I know I personally do way more shopping just on my phone now. Is that a big trend?
Oh, definitely. Mobile devices, especially smartphones, are quickly becoming the go-to channel for online shopping for a lot of people.
What's pushing that?
Several things. More brands have really good shopping apps now, offering a smooth experience. Faster data speeds with 5G helps. And the rise of social commerce people finding and buying stuff directly on platforms like Instagram or TikTok.
Yeah, that seems huge. Are there any specific regional things boosting e-commerce too?
Yes, for sure. Back to India, for example. Government programs like Digital India and the Unified Payment Interface, UPI, are really helping speed up e-commerce adoption and growth there.
So a mix of global tech shifts and specific local initiatives shaping things.
Yeah.
You mentioned social commerce just now. That feels like a really big change in how we find and buy things.
It's massive. And the projected scale is pretty staggering. By 2026, social commerce globally is expected to be worth around $2.9 trillion.
Wow, nearly 3 trillion.
Yeah. So what that means for retailers, including DTC brands, is they have to focus on creating seamless omnichannel experiences, making sure your interactions feel connected across different channels online and off.
Right.
And they need to build real, authentic engagement with people directly on those social platforms.
Authenticity feels key there. Consumers are pretty savvy on social media.
Totally. And another thing that's becoming increasingly critical for consumers today is sustainability.
Right, that comes up constantly in consumer research.
It really does. Sustainability is still a huge priority, and consumers are getting smarter about checking brands' environmental and social claims.
So greenwashing doesn't cut it anymore.
Not really.
Ah.
E-commerce companies need to show actual, measurable progress on their sustainability goals to keep trust and build loyalty long-term. Just saying vague things isn't enough. People want proof.
Okay, so we've covered major trends, the broader context. Let's get practical now.
Oh.
What are some of the key marketing best practices D2C brands should really focus on heading into 2025?
Well, the absolute foundation for any successful D2C brand is building a strong, resonant brand identity. And that's way more than just, a nice logo.
Okay, so what makes a brand identity strong in this D2C world?
It really starts with having a clear, compelling brand story. Research actually shows that a big majority, like 55% of consumers, are more likely to buy again from a brand if they love its story.
Huh, so the narrative matters.
It really does. Your story needs to clearly explain your brand's purpose, its core values, why it should matter to your specific audience. Patagonia is a classic example, right?
Yeah, their whole brand is built on sustainability.
Exactly. Their entire identity is wrapped up in that commitment to environmental activism. That authentic story really connects with their customers.
So it's about creating that emotional link, something beyond just the product itself.
Precisely. And tied closely to the story is creating visually appealing and, importantly, consistent branding everywhere.
Consistency across all channels.
Yes. Consistent branding can apparently boost revenue by up to 23%. That means everything. Logo, colors, fonts, the style of your images needs to look and feel the same on your website, your social media, your emails, everything. Think of Nike, the swoosh, just do it, instantly recognizable, totally consistent.
Right, that consistency builds familiarity and trust. So once the brand identity is solid, what's next in terms of marketing practice?
Building a really solid online presence and using your digital channels effectively is just essential. That starts with a user-friendly, high-performing e-commerce platform. Shopify often gets mentioned as a really good choice for D2C because it has so many features and apps.
And it has to work well on phones, right? Given what we said about mobile shopping.
Absolutely. Responsive design, meaning it looks and works great on mobile, isn't optional anymore. It's table stakes.
Okay.
D2C brands also need to be smart about using the right social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever their audience is, for both, organic chat and connection, and for targeted ads.
Yeah.
Kylie Cosmetics is a prime example of using social media to build a huge following and drive massive sales.
Yeah, they definitely mastered that. What about older channels like email? Still relevant.
Oh, absolutely. Even with social media booming, email marketing is still incredibly effective for keeping customers and nurturing leads.
Really?
Yeah, there are billions of email users, and the revenue generated through email is still huge. So it's a vital part of the mix. Good email marketing involves things like actively building your list, segmenting your audience based on what they do and like, sending compelling personalized campaigns, think welcome emails, abandoned cart reminders,
Right.
automating some of those email flows, and of course, constantly looking at your data to see what's working and improve.
So it's a coordinated effort across different digital spots. And as we keep saying, data seems to be the glue holding it all together.
It really is central. Using data to make the whole customer experience better is a core best practice. That customer data gives you priceless insights into what people actually prefer and how they behave.
How do brands use it effectively?
By carefully tracking and analyzing customer interactions, website visits, what they buy, how they engage on social media, brands can spot patterns, understand what customers like, and identify maybe where the experience is bumpy or frustrating.
Okay.
That understanding then lets them tailor their products, their messages, the whole journey to be more relevant and hopefully more satisfying for each person.
Using data to make things smoother and more personal. Now, we've talked a lot about data and prediction. How is AI more broadly changing the whole e-commerce game beyond just D2C?
Yeah, AI in e-commerce covers a whole range of learning technologies and algorithms that optimize both the stuff customers see and the crucial decisions businesses make behind the scenes. It's really pushing the whole industry forward.
What are some of the main areas AI is really making a difference?
We're seeing AI make a big impact in areas like much smarter, personalized product recommendations way beyond basic suggestions.
Okay.
Intelligent pricing optimization that adjusts based on the market and customer behavior. Better customer service using AI chatbots that can handle lots of queries 24/7. More precise customer segmentation for laser-focused marketing. Improving logistics and inventory using predictive insights. And even generating more accurate sales and demand forecasts.
That's a pretty wide range. Let's zoom in on one of those personalized product recommendations. How is AI making those better for shoppers?
Well, AI algorithms can crunch massive amounts of data.
Mm.
Your past purchases, stuff you browse, things on your wish list, and even data from other shoppers who seem similar to you.
Okay.
By finding complex patterns and all that, AI can generate much more subtle and relevant recommendations. It significantly bumps up the chances you'll buy something, and it makes your shopping better by showing you things you might actually love but wouldn't have found otherwise.
So it goes beyond just people who bought this also bought that, to really understanding individual tastes from lots of different signals.
Exactly. And for businesses wanting to bring AI in, usually a step-by-step approach works best.
How so?
It often means starting with a clear strategy tied to business goals, finding specific, narrow use cases where AI can clearly add value, maybe bringing in some outside AI experts to get started faster, and then building out more complex AI solutions as they learn and see results.
Start small, prove the value, then scale up. Seems sensible. Okay, before we wrap this up, there's one specific e-commerce platform that seems to pop up a lot, especially in D2C circles.
You probably mean WooCommerce. It's definitely become a major player in the e-commerce platform world.
Yeah, that's the one. What makes it stand out, particularly for D2C?
Well, data from places like BuiltWith shows WooCommerce powers a really significant chunk of all e-commerce sites online, something like 19% overall and 17% of the top million websites.
That's a lot.
It is. Its big advantage is how easily it integrates with WordPress. And WordPress itself has a huge market share as a website platform.
Ah, so because it works so well with the most popular website builder.
Exactly. That makes WooCommerce really accessible and flexible for tons of businesses looking to start or grow their D2C shop. It offers a lot of customization, which D2C brands often want to create that unique branded feel online.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's try and pull all these threads together. As we look towards 2025, what are the main takeaways, the big themes for the D2C landscape?
I think the core themes are pretty clear. First, continued strong growth, really fueled by smart use of data, ongoing tech advances, and a relentless focus on building stronger direct customer relationships.
Okay.
Subscription models are proving incredibly powerful for loyalty. AI and predictive analytics are unlocking unprecedented insights into customers. First-party data is increasingly precious for personalization. And fundamentally, having a strong, authentic brand identity paired with a great, easy-to-use online presence is still absolutely essential for D2C success.
And the common thread weaving through almost all of that seems to be leveraging data intelligently, adopting AI strategically, and always putting the customer experience first.
Absolutely. The D2C brands that can really nail personalization, optimize how they operate using data, and build genuine connections. They're the ones who won't just survive. They'll thrive in this incredibly dynamic space.
Right. So as this D2C world keeps changing so fast, here's maybe a final thought for you, the listener. Think about how these trends, subscriptions, AI-driven personalization, the power of first-party data, how will they shape your own shopping experiences in the future? And maybe more fundamentally, how will they change the way brands connect with all of us on that personal level? Which of these shifts do you think holds the biggest opportunity or perhaps the biggest challenge in the year ahead? Definitely something to chew on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.